All right, welcome back to the channel. Here we are, a little Cabover car hauler update. So this is this is what it's going to look like. A little variance on the ride height with some stuff that I'm playing around with. But this is the vision that I kind of had in my head with these crazy big all wheels, independent suspension. I wanted a real wide body because I didn't want it to look like a flatbed hauler. You know, I wanted it to look like a hot rod that you can actually put a car in behind it. So suspension's pretty dialed. Well, not dialed, but I mean, it's all together. Nothing's just sitting on my desk. Got the Heim set up. Got the bed roughed out. Now where the holes are, those are gonna be, or the squares, that's gonna be toolboxes. I got like dome lights, everything's kind of pre-wired. The front wheel, as you notice, isn't centered in the wheel well. It's such a big tire to put on top or underneath the Cabover that when I was turning it was starting to hit the core support. So I had to set it back, the whole suspension, and that's not a big deal. I'll just clearance the wheel well and I'll make all the sheet metal all cool and stuff like that. So, but yeah, check out the rear. Got the duals in the rear. Tell me those aren't cool. Look at that. This thing's gonna look like a steamroller coming from the backside. It's got like custom caps that go over everything to close it in. I'm making a lower dash for the AC controls just because I got everything else going on. Let me show you that. We'll go front to back. How about that? So this is pretty cool. All wrapped with leather. Got the tunnel made. Kind of everything pre-wired. A lot of like putting the cart before the horse bullshit because I had so many deadlines that I had to book months out, like with the guy who wires, because I don't personally do wiring. And then, you know, things stumble, you miss deadlines, and next thing you know, you can't reschedule. So there's a lot of things I would like to do a little different, but you know, it is what it is. The doors, these are pretty cool. I got these, are the bear claw assembly. These things are like 600 bucks, man. They're super expensive. But when they're all gapped out and perfect, look at this. I mean, that's just awesome. But instead of a tumbler, it's a catch assembly. You know, it has a little billet deal on the back. I'll get all this chromed and stuff like that. So, tell you my idea here. Just can't steal it. I welded this, and pay no mind to like the booger welds here, just because I just drug it all the way around because the whole perimeter has this inch square tubing, right? Inch thick. And I'm gonna grind it all down. This is all gonna get body worked and painted body color. But what I'm gonna have here is, since it's an inch, I'm gonna do custom wood floor. And so I have let's go around to the other side, let me show you. I have these aluminum strips right here. And so I'm gonna do probably like 6-inch or 8-inch wide by 1-inch thick wood, and you know, do a whole custom wood floor. So the wood's gonna be stained real dark brown. The bed's gonna be the body color, body worked. I got a couple different options on colors that I'm thinking right now, but I got one that I think is gonna be actually pretty cool. So, but yeah, let me show you the back end. I still have to work out, well, I still have to work out a million things. I'm probably gonna cut into the rear, like right here, just kind of put a notch, like some angle iron, something like that. Just to bring it lower. So my ramps are gonna be pretty long anyways, just because I wanted the bed to be high, but I just kind of compromised a couple different things. I mean, retrospect, maybe I should have just dropped the bed all the way down, did a little drive over hump, you know, and sat the whole truck down. But I had a bunch of different challenges that I was working with the independent suspension in the front end. So I'll get into that in a minute. But yeah, I radius the back end, got the, you know, lights that are gonna go in the back end, the tail lights. Bumper, I'm gonna go ahead and widen because it's such a big truck. So I'm gonna slice it here and then widen the whole thing. But I think overall, it's gonna be pretty cool, man. With the back of the bed radius, the front of the bed radius, and then I think it kind of matches the cab. And then this is pretty cool. Check out this is my seat. Already redone. It's already done, reupholstered. And then the side is like the body color. It's gonna be like a dark brown with like a gold pearl. I painted the frame black, and now I'm thinking I wanna paint that body color too. So I don't know, this fucking thing's never gonna get done. I'm just keep changing my mind. But yeah, so the hood, well, I can get this into here. I'll show you this. So the column, we basically had to cut down, and having an independent suspension with a power rack on a Cabover is super, super complicated. And just trust me, I know this. Because typically the steering comes down and then goes at the very tip over here, and it has like normal, you know, not power steering, but manual steering with the gearbox, with all the tie rods and everything. The problem is, now that you have a Cabover, because the cab sits over the engine, and the column is really right here, that puts the tire here. So if you have a power rack and everything in line with it, you literally have to shoot the steering backwards. So I kind of worked that out along with a couple other things. Let me show you what I did with the hood. So the hood, anybody knows these COEs, they have these little latches, and they just, you know, it's a whole farm truck. That's what they're for. I'm cutting everything out and gapping it. So you can kind of see like right here, just trying to make everything nice and flush all the way around. But what I did with the hood, let's see if I can show you. I put like a Chevy truck, hold on, stay still, camera, latch assembly. All right, let's see. So I did a drop down striker in it, striker, whatever that's called, pin, and then the hood pin, and then I did the catch assembly down here, you know, got it all kind of laid in. So I guess, you know, if I had to sacrifice one thing, when the hood's open, you have this kind of big old thing kind of coming down, but it's going to be all painted. I think it's going to all blend in. But now instead of having the latches, because on these COEs, they have like a little hook right here, and then the latches go through, and it's just asking to get scratched once it's all like said and done. And plus it's not, I don't think it looks very sleek. So I basically wanted, you know, normal truck assembly. And then I retrofitted core support in here because I wanted the huge aluminum radiator with the dual fan. So I got tons of room in here. And you might ask, hey Paul, what are these things? These things I had to make, I don't know if you can see, I bead rolled the whole firewall and everything. So this is a gearbox that I found. It's gear driven, and basically the steering comes in right here, and there's chains and gears and goes all the way down, and then you can see it shoots out down here and then goes into the power rack. So I found this is a drop down bracket for like monster trucks. The thing was like 800 bucks. But I found out in researching it that you can put it upside down, sideways, whatever. So that's what I use in order to shoot the steering backwards. So the column comes in right here. It's got the little coupler right here. This comes down, I forget how many inches this is altogether. And then it shoots out right there. That's part of the assembly. And then I just had to make the steering rod go straight down. So that was one of the big challenges, is trying to figure out like, how can I get the steering to go backwards to get this independent suspension to work. And not only is it independent suspension, it's 8 lug, 1 ton, independent. So let's crawl underneath this thing. Yeah, so I still got a lot of cleaning up to do. So a company here in Phoenix actually built this A-arm setup, and this A-arm setup is for a square body, obviously 2-wheel drive. So what I did is I took the measurements from the square body 2-wheel drive, and I set up 2 frame rails. I got 2 pieces of just square tubing, welded everything together so it was an independent A-arm setup with the frame rail. So essentially cut the front of the frame off and cut the back of the frame off and have the suspension in the middle. And then I grafted it, whatever. I put it in the middle of this truck into the frame. And that's kind of how I went about it. So I got 3 of these COEs. I've never done an independent one before. So just trying to work out everything. And it's basically like trying to put 5 pounds of shit in a 1 pound bucket, you know? But I think it's looking pretty cool, especially like with the hood assembly, you know. Let's see. So that's like a normal prop rod for the back hatch of a Blazer, 72 Blazer. And that's exactly what is underneath this truck. So it's kind of funny to see how everything works as vehicles evolve, because this is a 1952 Chevy COE, and literally the hood prop is almost identical to a 72 Chevy hatch bracket for the lift gate, you know? And so I found that out, and I was like, oh, it's a little longer, which is nice because it throws that hood all the way open. So it looks pretty cool. So yeah, I got a couple other things going on. Hopefully going to get the sheet metal finished up here with the hood and the fender, getting all that stuff cut. And then the really cool thing, if anybody has any advice, I'm all ears here. I don't work with wood, so you know, I'm a rookie as far as that's concerned. But like I said, I'm gonna do the wood in the floor. Basically, what I want to do is where these steps are, see the plastic steps, I want to put the wood in there and sink it into the fender so it's flush. So I think it's going to be super cool, man. I haven't really seen that done. What I need to know is how to get wood to bend. I heard this, you can steam it, there's a term called kerfing where you cut the back side of it. I don't know what's going to be easiest, so if anybody has any thoughts on that, man, I'm all ears, because I'm a sheet metal guy. But, you know, fucking wood don't scare me. I'll try it. So, but anyways, here's the update on the COE. I appreciate you guys watching, man. Thanks.